Remember when I asked if you knew who Ric Flair was? And hardly anyone did. Hands up if you know who this man is. Hands up if you know who this man is. Oh, Howie, come on, can't be again. Right, more of you than Ric Flair anyway. More of you than Ric Flair, right? Right, I'm not a basketball fan. However, this man is Michael Jordan, right? Yes, this is what you're kind of thinking. I think I know who it is. Yeah, think guys, yeah. This man is Michael Jordan. He is regarded as the best basketball player, arguably, of all time, if not the greatest athlete. In the 90s, he was like Michael Jackson. He was the most famous man on earth, and with the Chicago Bulls, he went on to win 6 world championships. Winning one alone was viewed as pretty an amazing achievement, but they went on to view 6, right? So what happened was Michael Jordan, when he joined the Chicago Bulls in 1984. Now, I'm not a basketball fan, I like researching greatness. I like researching success and how people achieve unbelievable things. He was drafted to the Chicago Bulls in 1984, and he was by far the best player. But what they kept losing up until the 90s, because they didn't have the best team. So they had the best player in the world, more or less, but they couldn't quite make it as a team. So what happened along the way was people knew this, and they thought, we need to get this guy, this best player in the world, more of a team player. So, hands up if you know who this guy is. Probably none of you, maybe one or two. One or two, right? This guy isn't very well known, but he's actually Michael Jordan. It's one of the reasons why Michael Jordan became so successful. It's his right-hand man. The guy who challenged him, the guy who tested him, the guy who could push him to be more of a team player and not supporting all of the role on his shoulders. This is Scottie Pippen, right? He was one of the most underpaid people in the NBA, even though he was standing right by the most successful man in sport. He's very underappreciated, but people didn't realize that this was one of the reasons why Michael Jordan became one of the best of all time, because he had people around him to be able to push him. Now, what happened is Scottie Pippen was drafted in 87, I think, but they still weren't winning championships. Obviously, they were in the National Basketball Association to win the league, right? Just like any sporting person wants to win the championship. They wanted to win that, but they still couldn't. Because what was happening was people were realizing Michael Jordan's the best player, so why don't we create our own set of rules? So they would create what they called the Jordan rules, where they would get certain people to block their best player. So when 2, 3, 4 people are blocking one person, didn't have a chance. So what they realized is that everyone's focusing on him. We can't win the game without Michael. How we're going to get around this? So they're asking how all the time. How do we get around this? This has always happened. We still can't win that championship. We still can't get it. Hands up if you know who this guy is. Again, one or two of you might. This is Phil Jackson. This is the coach who came in, I think, 1989, right? Now what he did was he had a bird's eye view of everything. He came in and said, I can see what's going wrong. I can see this is going wrong, that's going wrong. We need to do this, this, and this. You guys aren't seeing it because you're in the game. You're on the pitch, right? So this guy came in and he had a completely different way to manage the team, right? Completely different way to manage the team. But we only see the success of one person, right? We don't realize all the other people who are involved in this. So not only did Michael Jordan need the rest of the team, but he needed that right-hand man, that important person, Scottie Pippen, to test him. But he also needed the great coach to oversee everything and plan it and strategize, right? And together, then they started to win championships. Then they started with the success, right? Because they came together and worked as a unit and as a team. Now, the reason I bring this story in particular to your attention, I've been watching The Last Dance on Netflix recently, and the new book I've got it wasn't even about basketball, but this was the first story, and I thought there's something in this. You know, when the universe is giving you little hints like, I'm seeing more of this, I need to sort of lean into this, right? So what happened was quite simple. They needed a who. Even the best player in the world needed a who. They didn't need a how. They didn't need necessarily how to get out of this. They needed a who can help me. Michael Jordan needed a who can test me to be me more of a team player. When they had them two, they needed a who can work out this strategy. The coach can. He can see it. See, you've got to think about this in your own life. We're always asking, how do we do this? How do we lose weight? How do we get fitter? How do we get happier? How can we do this? How can we get more money? How can I get out of this unfortunate situation? How? What we really need to be asking is, who do we need? If you look at any successful person, truly successful, you will know that it's not just them. Why is it that we feel that we need to have this responsibility on our own shoulders to get everything done by ourselves? because it doesn't have to be that way. At the end of the day, if you think about all of you guys here, you probably couldn't have got the results that you've got right now on your own. You have a team, you have a coach, you have people around you, you have support, you have accountability, you have community, right? If we started asking that question in other areas of our lives, who can help me? Who can get me out of this? Who can show me a different way? And not how, we'd have a completely different set of results, I'm sure. Because quite simply, who creates results? How creates more problems. Ever wondered that? How? Well, you ask yourself all the time, how am I going to get out of this? You just think about more problems. What we need is more people who can help us, right? That's why I'm so glad you're here today, because I couldn't have done this without you guys. I need you guys to make this a success. I need you guys to be here. It's wonderful, right? You could also use this exact same thing with the Lord of the Rings. As another example, Frodo going to the Mordor, right, to the ring. He couldn't have done that without Sam, his sidekick, right? He needed a who. It's a basic example. I was reading about that as well. I was like, everybody that is successful, even in stories, exactly, needs a who. They need a who, right?